Now we have our second panel of the day. I'm calling it the Heart Panel. And when I thought about someone to lead the Heart and the Courage panel, the Vulnerability panel, the Caretaker panel, I couldn't think of anyone better than this angel who has become such a beautiful friend of mine, Katrina Stark. She's an NMD New 50 Club as well. She's a mama of two beautiful girls, and everything about this woman is heart. And we did about 4 prep calls, and there was consistent tears on every call, and I told them there's bonus for tears. So I have prizes ready. So get the tissues out. I just adore every one of these women. Come on up, beautiful Katrina. Come on up, girls.
Thanks, this one's going to be mine. Oh, sorry, darling.
Other hand hands.
I'm going to sit in this one here. Oh, wow! Hey, everyone. Oh, my God. This is so beautiful. Who was here last year? And who was here 2016? Isn't it crazy to see how much everybody has grown? Obviously, we've got a lot more teams, bringing a lot more people back now, which is so exciting. So some of you guys know me, some of you don't. I've been in the business now for 2.5 years. And I'm so grateful to be able to stand up here after Alex, because she was just beautiful. And I love exactly what she says, because excuses in this business will hold us back. So my part of the panel today is to try and get you guys to understand that those excuses are actually an opportunity delivered to you by something way greater than anything that's in this room, as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to find your superpower. Now, get prepared, because we're getting very vulnerable. We're sharing all the things. You're going to hear some things about me that pretty much no one in this room knows except for my mum. Same with these ladies as well, but we're doing it. We're wearing all those ugly parts of our life to show you guys that standing up here, it's not glamorous. None of us get here the easy way, and none of us are able to feel fulfilled unless we go through those challenges and build through them. So basically, when I came into this business 2.5 years ago, I was going through a really challenging stage in my life. I'd been with a partner for 10 years, and we had 2 beautiful girls, one of whom was only 6 months old. So I was going through that postnatal, oh my God, what the hell have we done? 2 kids is a hell of a lot harder than 1. But I was also through financial stress as well. Now, unfortunately, my partner at the time, he struggled a lot. He had a lot of mental conditions, which meant our life sucked. He struggled with his mind every single day, and just as I entered the business, he was diagnosed with bipolar. And it made a lot of sense to me. I understood why our life kind of went like this, and why the last 10 years had been so hard. At that stage, though, he decided that he wasn't going to fix himself. He was totally okay with the way he was, which technically, I'm his ex, so I'm allowed to say it, it was freaking destructive. It was horrible. He put everybody around him through a hell of a lot, including me and my 2 baby girls. And coming into this business, I had every excuse not to make this work. Every excuse. The day of my launch, my beautiful upline came to my house. She didn't even realize, but the night before, he'd tried to kill himself. And I was there, happy, showing to the people that I'm here, I'm doing this because I need something. And anybody who's in a situation right now, it's ugly, it's chaos, it's stressful, please know that that's okay. It is so normal, it's life, it's being a human, but you get to decide what meaning you attach to that event. So what I want to talk about a little bit, obviously you guys have seen my journey. I went through the business, I've created an amazing team of amazing people, and I now have the world's best partner over there filming. But so please don't feel sorry for me, my life has been amazing since, but I want to show you guys that the really chaotic time where things went up and down, where I wanted to wake up and go straight back to sleep. But just like Alex said, you have to get up and you have to do the action. But I find that sometimes people find excuses as a weakness. We feel like because our circumstance isn't perfect, that we're weak, or that we don't deserve it, or that we're not enough to have success. So I want to stand up here with these beautiful ladies and show you that that is absolute bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. Whatever you're in at the moment is God-given to strengthen you, to find your superpowers, and to be able to shine that little bit brighter. Now, I know that makes sense when someone else says it, but you're like, well, how the hell do I do it in my own life? When I'm in the middle of a storm, what do I do to create some kind of empowerment? Now, for those of you who can, we're going to do a closed eye process, but for those of you who can't, feel free to leave your eyes open if that's easier and just follow me. But if you can, shut your eyes for me now. And I'm going to test the awkward boundaries. We're going to stay here for 20 seconds. Oh, perfect timing. Now there's going to get to an awkward stage where you can hear yourself thinking. You might be thinking, holy shit, I'm hungry, hurry up, finish up, who is this weird woman, why are we closing our eyes? The thoughts start to happen. You could be thinking, oh, I wonder how the kids are. What are we going to have for dinner? Hands up if you're having some kind of internal dialogue right now. Yeah, for those of you with your eyes closed, that's about 98% of the room. Cool, so open your eyes back up for me now. Now, this was something that I had to learn going through the crazy roller coaster that I did when things were so turbulent. I had to realize that I wasn't my situation. So I had to do a detachment principle that I learned through my spiritual teachings called separation and detachment, the law of detachment. So basically what that means is right now you can hear those voices. So in our business, we also have those voices as well, those ones that say, you're not good enough at this, you can't speak up there, who are you to talk to this person, all of those negative type of things. They may have appeared when we just had our 20 seconds of silence. If they do, I want you to categorize them. For me, the people that have done this exercise with me before, it's a little leprechaun and he wears a paper bag. And I make him look ridiculous because he is ridiculous. He says the most demeaning, hurtful things that don't belong to me. They belong to him. So having a different categorise there really does help me distinguish, okay, do I want to listen to the crazy leprechaun right now? No. Yeah? Then you have the most amazing, loving, kind person that most of us put way in the back seat that always says, you can do it. You've got this. Give it a try. You can keep powering on through this situation. And I call that person the golden goddess or the golden god, if you're a male. And that is the person that we need to listen to a lot more. But then there's a third person, the person that doesn't speak, the person that's listening. So if you guys think there's voices inside your head, who is it actually that is listening to those voices? And to me, that's the ultimate observer. That is the seat of our soul. And it really does distinguish that, yes, there's thoughts going on here. Yes, there's chaos going on around here. But there's also just an internal greatness inside us that's just here to enjoy the experience. And that, my friends, is the most amazing seat to sit in because you no longer care when people say no to you. It's just part of the experience. You no longer care when relationships break down, when marriages end, when you need to move house, when the traffic doesn't go the way you want to, because you know you're just here to observe. Not to control, not to dictate, just to learn and to be kind. And in those moments, we can find some of the most amazing superpowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to my beautiful panel here, and they're going to share some of the stories that they have found along the way, and actually not only used it as, you know, a mountain to climb, but also an opportunity to grow some really, really cool skills through. So the first up is one of my favorite women in the world, and that is the amazing Jo Ross.
So my journey really began about 6 years ago, just after my 33rd birthday, when I was diagnosed with triple negative stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. so breast cancer. My marriage only lasted 9 months after my diagnosis. During that time, I had to leave my job, my 200-acre property that I loved, my horses and my donkeys that I'd raised they were my babies, and I started a new life, sleeping on a blow-up air mattress in a beach shack with my dog and my juicer. I'm actually so grateful for my cancer diagnosis because without it, I never ever would have had the courage to ask myself, is this it? Is this all life is going to give me? I distinctly remember sitting up in hospital one night, reading my first ever personal development book and being filled with joy and hope because I just had discovered the knowledge that I could decide to make my life anything I wanted it to be. Happy or sad, healthy or sick, scared or brave. It's entirely my choice. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I made the decision that I was determined that my life was going to be fantastic and I wasn't going to waste it. So fast forward quite a few years and I met my beautiful hubby Al and we got together and started dreaming of travelling around Australia in our caravan, and Juice Plus came into my life thanks to this beautiful woman at the same time. Now I had a fantastic start in the business. I don't know how. I had less than 100 Facebook friends. I just did whatever my upline told me to do, whatever I was told to do on trainings. I followed the system. And I just fell in love with finding people who wanted more in life because I was determined that we were going to have more in life. We had our wedding planned for 6 months after we started in Juice Plus. Everything was going really fast, it was amazing, and the business was going so well that I actually decided to close down my family daycare just before our wedding so that as soon as we got back from our honeymoon, I could jump straight into this business, go at it all in, and just make it amazing so that we could then fulfill our dream and hit the road caravanning. Our wedding was perfect, absolutely gorgeous. Everything was amazing. Our bags were packed and we were about to jump on our honeymoon cruise. And then 2 days after our wedding, I found another lump. My cancer came back in exactly the same spot, but this time more aggressive. A million different things went through my head when that happened. So fear, worry, it's bloody well not fair, anger, frustration, sadness, why me, all that stuff. And it would have been so easy to quit, so easy. But underneath it all, I couldn't help but remember that this is my choice. I get to choose what happens in my life. And while cancer definitely sucks and it throws a huge spanner in the works, I was not going to let it derail the plans that I had made for our life. So I kept my diagnosis pretty quiet. Didn't tell a lot of people, and I just got to work. I stayed really close to the fire. I jumped on 3 events a week, on every single training. I showed up for my team, and I was growing my business. From that, I was actually able to hit SSC 6 weeks later, and then I had my second best month ever in December when I signed up 4 new teamies from my hospital bed after having a mastectomy. Now, none of this was easy. It takes sacrifice, planning, a family schedule, and a lot of discipline to stick with it. Not feeling like it is never a reason to not show up for my team, and there's a lot of days when you just don't feel like it. I don't watch TV, I don't have Netflix, and I don't read novels. But I do get to travel the world with my best friends. I do get to see and experience the most amazing things, and I get to hang out with some really cool people. I can help my family out whenever they need it, and my heart just overflows at the joy of seeing my beautiful team hit all of their goals and make everything happen that they want in their lives. So I'm not sharing this with you for any other reason other than hopefully it will show you that the only thing holding you back in life is you. You can do anything you want to do. All you have to do is decide. Decide what you want, decide you are worth it, and decide that you're going to put in crazy hustle for a couple of years so that the rest of your life can be absolutely amazing. Because I can promise you, it really is worth it.
That's amazing. Unreal. All right, let's move on to our beautiful Jodie, who has one of the most powerful stories I've ever heard. Amazing.
Thanks, Katrina. I feel really honoured and humbled, and I'm really hoping I don't stuff this up. In 1996 until 2012, I had an addiction. My addiction was snowboarding. And after a couple of years of chasing the snow overseas, I moved to Thredbo Ski Resort in 1999 to live permanently and call it home. When I look back now, I was really living the life of my dreams at that point in my life. I owned the hairdressing salon, and in winter I got to snowboard pretty much every day. On the 4th of July 2005, ironically Independence Day, I was in the snowboard park and landed really hard on my coccyx and broke my neck. My life changed just like that. And I went from being a normal, independent 30-year-old without a care in the world to being completely paralysed from the neck down immediately. I told the spinal director, I was airlifted to Sydney, where I was woken from an induced coma 10 days later to be told that I was a C5 incomplete quadriplegic, whatever that meant. And the doctor's words, that it would be very, very unlikely that I'd ever walk again. I told the spinal director I was going to walk out of that hospital, and she said to me, "Oh, Jodie, I know you're positive, but I really don't want you to be too optimistic." She was standing there basically telling me not to have hope, but I was paralysed from the neck down, so hope was all I had. And I knew then and there I needed to do whatever it took to walk out of that hospital. And not only was I visualising myself snowboarding again, I could actually feel it. 3 months later, my toe moved, and I was getting a little bit of movement in parts I couldn't feel and feeling in parts I couldn't move. And I thought the worst was over. That is until I watched them prepare my new motorised wheelchair as they got ready to sit me up for the first time after 3 months. The thought of spending the rest of my life in a motorised wheelchair was something that I did not sign up for. I felt completely overwhelmed, and little did I know at the time, though, that my biggest challenge would eventually become my biggest strength. My first day of rehab is the day it all became real. I couldn't sit up on my own, and when I got back to the spinal ward, the nurse helped me transfer onto the toilet, where I just bawled my eyes out. I felt physically and emotionally broken. I couldn't even tear a sheet of toilet paper off the roll to wipe my tears, or my ass for that matter. And I was 100% reliant on everyone to do absolutely everything for me. So how on earth was I going to walk out of that hospital? In November, I stood up for the first time and took my first step. And in December, I walked out of that hospital with a granny frame. Even though nothing still functioned properly internally from the neck down, and I was having toilet accidents like they were going out of fashion, I felt like I was starting to get my life back. 6 months later, I got back on my snowboard, and I felt free again. A few months later, I was invited to participate in the first ever Canadian adaptive snowboard training program, where I was encouraged to start competing at the USA Nationals. Thank you. There was nothing like this in Australia, and I was the only Aussie competing at all, let alone at an international level. That was the start of a 7-year journey to have snowboarding included as an event at the Paralympics, and I was the only quadriplegic snowboarder. In 2012, my life took another turn in the road, and I was surprised by one of those pregnancy sticks with 2 straight lines. I didn't have the support to continue snowboarding and have a child, so my dream to represent Australia at the first ever Paralympic snowboard cross event came to a grinding halt. Other than becoming a mum, I had absolutely no idea what I was now going to do with my life, and I moved away from the snow life I'd known for almost 20 years to be closer to my family in Sydney, and depression set in hard and fast. I just felt really lost, and I'd become just a mum. At 38, I felt privileged and grateful to even become a mum, but I wanted more. I was financially struggling on a disability pension, and I was exhausted between continued spinal therapies and raising a little girl on my own. So part-time work, let alone full-time work, wasn't an option, and I had to find a way out of that financial struggle, or I was going to be living on government support on a below minimum wage forever. And that made me feel physically sick every single day. In the middle of my life falling apart, a friend gave me her 4-month supply of these fruit and veggie capsules. Take these, she said, they might give you some more energy. Within 3 weeks, I wasn't taking day naps anymore. And within 3 months, I felt so good, I was able to wean completely off antidepressants after 12 years on them. This made me start doing some research into the business side of it. If these capsules were having this kind of impact on me, how many people could I help in a similar situation? I had 2 choices. I could continue to let this financial struggle consume me, or I could find a way to earn my own income again, doing something I was passionate about and have purpose in my life again. Not only has this business started to turn my life around, but it's given me confidence and hope for a better future, along with the opportunity to be a part of something bigger than myself and to be able to impact, inspire and empower other people's lives in a positive way. So you see, your biggest challenges in life can only do 2 things. They can become your biggest weaknesses, or they can become your biggest strengths. It's our challenges in life that force us to dig deep and figure out what we're really made of. They force us to push beyond the boundaries of what we think is possible in that moment, to find our inner strength and start dreaming again. In our minds, we have all of the tools we need to be anything we want to be and to do anything we want to do. Without challenges in life, we can't grow. So keep believing in your dreams, face your fears head on, stop suffering, and allow yourself to grow bigger. If you asked me if I wished my accident had never happened, I'd honestly have to say no, because so many doors have opened since then, and without the struggles I've been through, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be sitting up here sharing this with you in hope to just inspire even just one person. Thank you.
You're amazing. Thanks, Jode. Beautiful. All right, next up we have our beautiful Susie.
Hi guys. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I was born deaf. So throughout my whole life I've had many challenges and obstacles. So my mum used to tell me, as every parent does, I believe, that we tell our children, you can be anyone you want to be when you grow up, as long as you do the right things along the way to get there. So I went to a mainstream primary school where they had a deaf unit in there that could help us with our schoolwork. Not that I was a big fan of it because it made me feel like an outcast. So I went through primary school and then I received a cochlear implant to help me hear better just before I went to high school, which was a really hard choice to make because, you know, we'll go in the brain and the ear and everything, but anyway. When we got to high school, we had to start getting serious about our choices, what we want to do for a career, and I had big dreams. You know, it started off as a singer and an actor and, you know, one of those things you see on TV, and then, you know, it evolved into something that I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer. You know, it was all about helping people and giving back. So I went to the Careers Expo in year 11, and I had a list of questions that I wanted to ask all the university providers and people in different careers, industries, only to be told, basically just ripped off my choices. No, you can't do it. We don't have room for deaf people. We don't know what to do with deaf people like you. And once again, I was an outcast. People didn't understand that I had good grades and I did the right things and stuff, but that didn't matter to them. So I kind of, I've done the retail, and I've done, little jobs here and there, growing up, but I still felt like I was being set up to fail. People were waiting for me to make a mistake and then say, I told you couldn't do it. And of course it's discrimination, but what was I going to do? So I had another dream of being a mum. So I got married. I've got 3 beautiful children under 6. Thank you. So if you think of a mum, unfortunately I couldn't breastfeed, so I had all my kids on formula. We had nappies and pull-ups, and then the school fees. My eldest started school, so on a one income with my husband, it was starting to take a strain on our household. We live in a very expensive rental. So I said, well, something has to change. And my husband said, I can take a second job, but I really don't want to because I want to spend the time with the kids, I'm a firm believer that if I really wanted to be a mum, then I'm going to be a mum. No one's going to take that away from me. So I started to look into other avenues of business and stuff, and I thought, I'm not going to put myself out there because people are just going to look down upon me, expect me to fail and stuff, and why would I put myself in that environment? Because that's not positive. So I thought the only other option I had was to start my own business, where I could be my own boss. That's the only choice I had. I was already on the products for about 18 months prior to joining the business. So it was something that I fell in love with. It was something I was passionate about, and it worked for me and my family. So I asked about the business. Best decision I had ever made for me and my family, because I've now been in the business for 13 months, and I am happy, I feel content, and I have an amazing room of support, that you would not believe. That all that support that I was craving from a start, I've got that now. And no one judges me. No one has those expectations for me to say, we're waiting for you to make a mistake. The script is there. I don't use the phone, but I make the business work for me. I text. Social media is my friend. I'm really happy, I'm really excited, and we are now on track to buy our first home at the end of the year. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Susie. And lucky last, we have beautiful Sal.
Hey everyone. To be honest, I was feeling so anxious when I was asked to speak on this panel with these incredible women, because my life has been great. I have an amazing husband, I have 2 beautiful little boys, and I've spent a good third of my life travelling and working in remote parts of North Queensland. So sitting up here with these women was very anxious for me. But when I became a mum 4 years ago, our life in the bush also became really debilitating for me. I lost all of my confidence. I lost my self-worth, my self-esteem. I just became this shell of a woman that I once knew. And on top of that, I also felt ashamed for feeling that way, because I've had a great life, and how dare I feel that way when I have these 2 incredibly beautiful little boys. When Juice Plus came into my life, my littlest boy Archie, he was about 2 months old, and the products just completely transformed my life, both physically and emotionally. So I had this deep passion right down in my soul to help other rural women out there that were struggling, just like I was. So I decided to take a look at this business, but me looking at this business also posed a whole new set of challenges for me, because where we live, we're almost 2 hours from anything: a school, a grocery store, a bank, a post office, people. I don't see people. Our internet is crap. And, it's just whatever. And it's especially been hard in the last 12 months because even though this business has afforded my family financially the ability for my husband to take a job that he loves rather than being in a family business that had him feeling worthless, it's meant that I've had to live in 2 separate homes. I've had to pack up our little boys every single week. I've had to pack up clothes, food, try and make sure my husband was fed, all of that kind of thing for almost 12 months now, just to make this business work. But I have seen this business as such a gift, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And the reality is that when I see all of these people sitting in this room, I know why I'm sitting up here. When I get to connect with another rural woman, you know, whether it's directly or indirectly, who's struggling now the way I was 2 years ago, I know exactly why I'm here. And when I get to see my husband so happy now doing what he loves, I know why I'm here. So that's the only thing I want to say to you is you need to know why you're here. Reach right down in your soul and know why you're here. Because if I can do it, if these women can do it, then anyone can do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies. That was just beautiful. And can I just say, when we were doing our calls, these 4 ladies each said to me, I don't know why I'm up here, my story isn't special. Now, are any of those not special? So for those of you that are sitting in here thinking, okay, I don't have breast cancer, I don't live rurally, I wasn't made a paraplegic, or I'm not deaf, there's something inside of your life right now that is hurting, just like Kate mentioned. There's a reason why you need to overcome these challenges, because your business needs you to own those superpowers. You cannot become an NMD 3000 club in a limit-filled vibration. You need to be able to grow, you need to be able to earn, sit in that observer seat just like these ladies did through their challenges and try and find what it was that they could bring out, whether it be determination, whether it be inner strength, whether it be authenticity or vision. So, you know, I'm just going to leave it there for you guys today to try and work out what it is that's limiting you right now. What do you think your circumstance is that's holding you back? We all have it. Is it your mum? Is it your mum life? Is it your situation around your children? Is it an unsupportive relationship, an abusive relationship, like in my circumstance? What is it that you feel like you can't create a success from? And then I want you to work out the bullshit in that story. There's a whole page there underneath our panel for you guys to do this. We're running out of time right now, but this is something that I encourage you guys to do in your own time, because it is something that you're really going to find a lot of truth in. But thank you so much, and thank you so much, ladies.